Hello and welcome to a new video. And yes, I am hiding my double chin because I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't think it can go away. I think it's just a part of me. And sorry if I look kind of greasy. I am filming this right after coming home from the gym, and I didn't realize that right now is a really great opportunity to film because no one's really home. So I try not to film when there's people because I think that's just really awkward. Plus I get better lighting when I'm upstairs, and that's when where my family normally is. So anyway, today we will be reviewing a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket. Here's the cover, and the cover was illustrated by Brett Hellquist, and I think they did an amazing job. Wanted to point that out. And essentially the summary for this book is that this book is about a group of 3 kids named Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, whose parents died after their house was burned down, and they're pretty much left as orphans. And after finding out that their parents died, they meet someone named Mr. Poe, and Mr. Poe is essentially in charge of the orphans' affairs. So he's the one that is dealing with their money until Violet is of age, because she's currently 14. And then the kids have to go live with their Count Olaf, and he's a distant relative. And they live in this really, really crappy house. And they are just miserable in it. Then Count Olaf is very evidently trying to get the kids' fortune, so he conjures up a scheme to marry 14-year-old Violet to get this money. And that is just a very basic premise of this book. This book is really short. It's a really easy read. I think it's another middle grade book. It really is my favorite genre because I don't think I'm ready to start reading those high fantasy romance books that are really popular right now. I do eventually want to start reading them. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review on those. Maybe I will. But right now I just want to focus on what I know, and that's middle grade, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So essentially this book was actually released September 30th, 1999, 30 days after my birthday. So I think that's really neat. The first Harry Potter book was released in 1999 in June or July. So that was a little bit before my birthday. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this book a solid 9 out of 12. And I'm just going to go into why I rated it the way that I did. And I just would like to clarify, I know, just like I did with J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter, I know that Lemony Snicket himself has been accused of some things. I was just reading about how he made like a really disgusting joke to an African American author, and then he joked about the Me Too movement, and how after doing that, and like this was around, I think the Me Too movement came about like around 2017, and he was visiting college campuses, and he was actually like, they were canceled because the students did not want them there, which is pretty cool that the students did that. That would have been around the time I was in college, so it's like, yeah, fellow college students around my age, let's go. Yeah, I just want to clarify that I don't really agree with his views. Interestingly enough, I didn't see that many people like criticizing him, and maybe his apologies were really heartfelt. I didn't really see them. Maybe I should have before doing this review. I mean, this review is about the book series, not about him, but I just did want to bring this up because I think if an author is problematic, I think people should know about it, because there's so many amazing books written by amazing people that deserve to be heard, and I don't want to make like a crappy person famous or like praise a crappy person. I mean, like I always separate the art from the artist. If a book is good, a book is good, regardless if you wrote it. But I do think we have to be more aware of where we're putting our money in, especially in this economy. Maybe he really is sorry, maybe he donated a lot of money, maybe he has shown a lot of change in his actions, but I would like to remind her, if you saw the cover, I think basically every single character in this story is white, and I do think that's interesting to point out. There is pretty decent female representation with Violet, Sunny, and Justice Strauss. I think the most well-written female character is Violet, and then there's Sunny, who is a baby. They're barely a character, but she's a great character. I still like her. And then there's Justice Strauss, who doesn't really show up a lot in the series. until like in the very beginning and then not until the end. And overall, I do think this story is deserving of a 9 out of 12. It is a really, really captivating story. Like, you really are interested in what's going to happen next. And I think that's a really good choice in storytelling. And I really, really, really hated Count Olaf. Like, I remember reading the series when I was like 13 and I was just like, he's not a good person, is he? I just, now rereading it as an adult, I'm just like, this man is nasty. Why are you trying to marry a 14-year-old girl that's related to you in some sort of capacity for money? Get a job. Stay away from her, get a job. Insert that meme of Demi Lovato right here. Stay away from her, get a job. There's really no need for you to breathe the same air as Violet. But yeah, I do think the story is really interesting about how life can go as orphans, because I think it is something that is an issue. It's like, what happens when a person's parents die, and most of the time a lot of these kids do end up going to like their grandparents. There's lots of people whose parents just aren't unable to take care of them, or their parents have passed away, so they live with their grandparents or with their aunts and their uncles. And sometimes it's great. Like sometimes grandparents do a better job at parenting like a second set of kids than they did their first set of kids. And then obviously there are like, they're going to be if they're with their aunt or uncle, they're going to be with kids around their age, possibly if they have cousins or close to their age. And if they're with their godparents probably have kids themselves. But it is an issue if like the person that they're like being adopted by is just unsuitable. And how interesting in this case how no one ever looked at Count Olaf, not even Mr. Poe, to see if he was even a suitable parent to these 3 kids, and one of which is a baby. Like, we don't know how old Sunny is, but she has teeth, so I'm assuming, and she can't walk yet, so she must be like around a year old, maybe a little under than that. And she was locked up in a cage in this book series. The poor kid's away, and Klaus was literally physically assaulted by Count Olaf, or I'm pretty sure it was Count Olaf himself, like slapped him. And I was just like, oh my god, why are you slapping a 12-year-old boy that you met maybe 2 weeks ago? This man is so horrifying, and I think this book did such a great job making him the shittiest person to ever exist. Like, he is just plain evil, and you just root against him the whole entire time. But yeah, it just makes you wonder how the foster system is being worked in. I think if a situation like this would happen, I think a man like Count Olaf would gain custody. So I'm just wondering, if he wants money so badly, isn't the government already giving him like a certain amount a month, like stipends? Like, he's already receiving money for taking care of his kids. Maybe, like I said, we don't really know when this story takes place. I always have this assumption that the story takes place around the year that it was released. If like this story was released in 1999, so that means that the kids, like Violet, she's 14. She was probably born in 1985. Klaus was probably born in 1987, and then Violet is a fellow 1999 baby. Yeah, but I would like one of the reasons why I gave this not a perfect 12 out of 12. One is because of the author. Like, I already went over that. I think those are just some red flags for me personally. I do, like I said, I'm doing this book series because I already read it. I just got it off of my phone, and I just read it off my phone. I think it was like $3, so it was pretty cheap. And I felt like rereading it. And I had lots of fun. I think it was really interesting. I think these kind of stories, I love reading stories like this because it's just so nice to read about a world and a bunch of characters and stuff where there's like really no direct romance in it, especially with the main character that's 14. Like I said, I complained about this in my Cube of the Lost Cities review about Sophie already having like 3 love interests at 12. And with Violet, she doesn't really have a love interest. I mean, she's creeped on by one of his friends, and then Count Olaf tries to marry him, but it was never made to be romantic. Like, this was a bad thing. And I do applaud that in the book writing, and it's just fun to read like a story that's just so interesting and has just such dynamic characters, and you could really want to know more about them and how their life is going to be. And I am really interested in reading the second book. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but it's going to be soon. So yeah. And I was planning on making this video short, but I never shut up. I ended up filming for far too long. So anyway, this is going to be goodbye now, and the sun is going down, so yeah, bye. Thanks for watching.